Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing The Serpent and the Rainbow. This came out in 1988 and stars Bill Pullman, Kathy Tyson, Zakes Mokae and Brent Jennings. It looks at Harvard anthropologist Dennis Allen, played by Bill Pullman. He is sent to Haiti to retrieve a strange powder that is said to have the power to bring human beings back from the dead. In his quest to find the miracle drug, the cynical scientist enters the rarely seen neath world of walking zombies, blood rituals, and ancient curses. This film is based on the true life experiences of Wade Davis and is filmed on location in Haiti. It's a frightening excursion into black magic and the supernatural. I really like this. This is another one of Wes Craven's sort of early films. This is a bit after he did Nightmare on Elm Street, which, you know, catapulted him to a very well-known horror director. But this film is just really well put together. Yet again, it's another subject matter that's based on a true story, something he used quite a bit in a number of his films, including Nightmare on Elm Street. But this film is based upon the idea of a true story of Wade Davis, who experienced these things and who wrote a book that this film is based upon. This is one of the first films, I think, that Wes Craven did that he didn't actually write. And I really miss the writing directing elements that he adds to the film. I really like the imagery he creates here and crafts in this film. There's some really great visual effects, there's some great prosthetic work, and there's this really great sequence with a corpse sort of bride, the decaying bride, that's really fantastically done. Just visually, it's quite striking with the things that transpire, with the visions that Dennis Allen character has after drinking this particular stuff that causes him to hallucinate and to start to see things that will later come up, or things that he's, you know, affected by, that he's haunted by throughout the film, which I really love. There's this sequence where he's ultimately having this night where he's buried alive and he gets put into this coffin, and slowly the coffin gets filled with blood and it engulfs him, and then he wakes up. I really love that. The imagery of that is fantastic. There's this great shot, you know, with the camera pointing up, and you see, like, it's like a grave, that's a dug grave, and you can see this bad guy standing above him talking to him. It's just visually striking in that regard. I love the choices made. I like the music. I like the effect that this film has on the viewer. And he takes you into a world you don't know a lot about. And our eyes into the world is Dennis Allen, played by Bill Pullman. He really just takes us into the world. His voiceover is the thing telling the story. And it's about his experiences and what he sees and what he goes through that we experience and go through the same way. The acting is really solid. Pullman's fantastic, I think. He's an actor I've liked for a long time. This is a role that's a bit different for him, which I really liked. Kathy Tyson isn't an actress I'm very well versed in. I know that she was in Mona's Smile, but I haven't really seen her in much. I think she's really great here. She really suits the character she's playing. She's playing a doctor in Haiti that sort of works with Dennis Allen, and she navigates him and us through the world. And we see different varieties of what happens there. And I like the fact that it's all shot in Haiti on location. I like the backdrop, it looks beautiful. It was at a time before all the craziness has happened in the world. So it sort of looks interesting and dark and sort of twisted in certain areas of it. In a lot of ways, it reminded me of New Orleans, just in the look and feel of things and the design of things. And there's this really great graveyard scene that they go to find this particular man that's thought to have returned from the dead. I really like that. I like the fact that it's this powder that these people are infected with or put onto them that causes them to not be able to move or do anything, but they experience everything, they see and hear everything, but they just can't react to it. I really like that. The Dennis Allen character, he gets his powder blown into his face, and then himself gets put into a coffin. That's a really fantastic sequence. And just the way he looks and the things that happen are great. The ending's really interesting. It sort of has this supernatural element, much more than the rest of the film. It felt a little bit like New Nightmare in a lot of ways, where he has to fight this darkness and sort of within the dream or within his mind type scenario. And it just really captures that in a really, really effective way. I think this is another one of Wes Craven's underrated films. I think it's very interestingly done, and it's very entertaining and shocking and surprising in many ways. There's a lot of darkness to it in its visuals and its story, but it's still captivating enough that it doesn't lose the audience. You get stuck there wanting to know what's going on, wanting to see him get through this, wanting to see him go up against this bad guy, played by Zakes Mokae, who's sort of the police chief in the town, but he's also into dark magic and voodoo and what he sort of does to sort of control people and circumstances is quite surprising and really well done. There's dreamlike sequences in it when there's not him hallucinating, but it's just the experiences that he's having with Kathy or he's having with any other character in the film. There's a dreamlike quality that doesn't quite reign true and doesn't really feel real. But that adds a lot to it because it is sort of this dreamish nightmare thing that we experience, much like Nightmare on Elm Street was. The villain of the piece isn't some scarred villain with scissor fingers. It's like a real person, but who's into dark things and is able to control people, and he's able to invade people's dreams and in their mind and affect them in ways that they can't control. I thought that was a really great aspect to it. And it sort of looks at the culture, and it looks at voodoo, it looks at things that are involved in this and different religions that are part of it. It looks at how this powder itself is formed, all the ingredients that it involves, and having to put it in a coffin with a corpse, and just the ritual of it. I really liked that. I thought that was really fascinating. And that's the aspect of Wes Craven's stuff I really like, is just the stuff based on truth, and the way he conveys that and shows that on the screen is really captivating, and I really like what he was able to accomplish with this movie. I think he was one of the best horror directors out there, and he crafted some really fascinating, interesting movies. And a great addition to Wes Craven's filmography. Final thoughts. At the heart, it's really about showing a different world. It's showing how we can be attacked in our dreams and in our minds, and that there is dark forces out there that can control and harm us. And it also looks at how things aren't quite what they seem. This is based on a true idea, and there is cases of people returning from the dead and being called zombies, and that's sort of where a lot of the zombie films and stuff we have now comes from. Realistically, they were affected by some chemical, some powder that caused them to seem like they were dead, but they were actually really alive. They just couldn't move or talk or experience anything, and couldn't let people know if they were in pain or trouble. And the fact that these things really happen, and the experiences that these people have had, and how they are able to portray that in a book and then also portray that on the screen. I'm going to give Serpent and the Rainbow 4 out of 5. I think this is one of Wes Craven's underrated gems, and if you're a fan of his movies, I highly recommend it. I think it was well crafted, well put together. It was an interesting story. I loved the fact he created a mythology for anything he does, which connects it to realism. It's something that he can put supernatural elements on it, but there is a realistic element to it that he's crafted, that he's found, that he's put in there. And these movies he created with mythology are my favorite ones. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.